Askreddit Asks, what was the worst why the F did I say that moment?
My ex said at the dinner table I had a slight webbing on my toe. How do you get that? In front of her entire family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. I instinctively said, inbreeding, forks dropped. And they all just stared at me. I didn't know what to do or where to look, I just wanted to fucking die.
I thought that would have been funny as hell. It's a good response.
5th grade in school. About 300 kids in the auditorium for a DARE presentation. A speaker started off by having all of us scream, "Why?" Exclamation mark. Quote exclamation mark. Whenever he would say a statement and then ask us, "Do you know why?" Fast forward mid-presentation and he asked, "Do you know why?" again. I screamed WHY so hard it could be heard in the cafeteria. Nobody else did. Swallow me earth. Edit. So much organic karma extract. Guess it was worth the cringe. Glad it has made some of you laugh.
Well, he asked for it. I hope it echoed for ages.
That's the kind of thing that's traumatic and scars you for life as a kid. But that you would be proud of doing as an adult.
Okay, so I already commented on this, but I remembered one that was WAAAAAY worse. I went to go visit a friend with my sister who was working on a college campus. She took us around and I don't know what led to it, but she told us how she got raped by a kid in middle school. Told us about the aftermath and how she's totally fine now. It came time for my sister and I to leave. We were saying our goodbyes and as we were walking away I said, "Don't get raped." Quote. I to this day want to punch myself in the face repeatedly and I have no fucking clue why I said that.
I'm about 50 posts into this thread and this was the first one to make me actually cringe.
I work in a hospital. I was taking a patient for an X-ray. The patient was in a wheelchair. Me, I suck at steering these things. I'll try not to drive you into a wall. Patient had just spent 6 weeks in bed seriously injured after driving into a wall.
Don't sweat it. That was totally normal under any other circumstance. My 17-year-old son died a couple months ago after driving into a tree. So many times people put their foot in their mouth in so many ways. It strikes me hard at first. But then I realize that this is what getting back to normal is.
On the morning of my wedding. The third time I'd met my soon-to-be mother-in-law. I was understandably jittery about the day. Probably not at the top of my game. So, I warmly greeted her by saying, "Hi Linda. It's so good to see you." She's quiet for a moment. And then says, "Actually, it's Laura." I knew it was Laura. I have no clue why I called her Linda. I was mortified, and felt like I had only one way out of the situation. I replied after a pause. "No. I'm pretty sure it's Linda." To her credit. And to this day, whenever she calls me she tells me it's Linda. And I've never called her anything but that since.
At my friend's wedding, which I was standing up in, I walk into the bathroom which has 1 or 2 more men in it than there are stalls and urinals for. My friend says, "I guess I'll use the handicap stall, since it was unoccupied." But apparently he wasn't sure that he should use it. Without missing a beat, I said, "That's okay. It works for mentally handicapped people too." It was at that point that I realized that it wasn't my friend who said it. Just some guy the first didn't know who was in his 40s or 50s, I was 24 at the time. Silence. I quickly go into the other stall which someone had just exited. Hissed as fast as possible. And left without washing my hands so I would get out of there before the other guy left the handicap stall.
Fuck. I can't stop giggling from this one. Just imagining this guy's internal monologue of what the fuck? Do I come off mentally handicapped? What the fuck?
That was fucking hilarious.
I was in an interview and the CEO asked me, "So tell me a bit about your guilty pleasures. You drink? You smoke?" I told him I enjoy a good drink and I am definitely pro-marijuana. He then said, "I meant cigars."
Can I change my biggest weakness answer to honesty?
Interview for an administrator in a doctor's surgery. Seems to be going well. Getting through the majority of questions, no issues. No real concerns about my experience or work history. And they seem pleased with what I'm saying. Just 3 or 4 more questions and the interview would be over. Interviewer: This job can be very stressful. What do you do to release stress? Me, I've always felt less stressed after I've had sex. The interviewer and his assistant completely lost it and burst into laughter. The interview effectively ended there and then. And no, I did not get the job.
Back in 7th grade, a teacher called on me to answer a question. I guess I was a little sick at the time because I needed to clear my throat. Yet decided against it because people might think I'm gross or something. As you can probably guess, that didn't work out well and I sounded like a chronic smoker. Then finally, after trying my hardest to nonchalantly clear my throat, I announced to the class, "Sorry. I have a speech defect. I do not.
I'm disabled. I had a classmate answer a question in class like this and then clear her throat. And when she was done, my teacher said, "Okay, one more time when you're not channeling Satan."
Not me, but my husband. He was out drinking with his friends. A girl comes up to him asking if he wants to dance. What he means to say is, "I only dance when I'm drunk. And I'm still sober." But what he actually said was, "I'm not drunk enough to dance with you." I wasn't even there and I can feel that poor girl's self-esteem drop every time he tells the story.
Eep. This just reminded me of something. I was hanging out with some friends and one tried to kiss me and I hit him with the, "I'm not drunk enough for that." I intended it as, "Man, I make out with a lot of people when I drink," but he did not take it that way.
My boss, an elderly ex-military dude, asked me, "How are you doing?" And he amused himself and followed up with, "That reminds me of Joey from Friends. How you, URL redacted, watch. V equals YJQ1XD6UL4. The question was still directed at me though. I responded, "Are you hitting on me?" He turned red and got flustered and stammered, No, my wife is next door, she was visiting the office." Then straightened up and said, "That was inappropriate," and left my office. Why the fuck did I say that?
There's so much cringe here I don't know where to begin. When they once announced our librarian, horrible lady, had passed away over the PA. My brain faded and I accidentally said, "Looks like she finally got our library to be quiet, rip."
If I ever die, I hope somebody says something just as funny to mark the occasion.
To be fair, librarians are incredibly dangerous. It was probably for the best.
If I ever die. I once complimented a girl I know on her cute outfit and asked where she got it. She named a plus-size store. For whatever stupid reason I replied, "Really? I need to gain a bunch of weight so I can shop there." I immediately realized what I had said. And we looked at each other for a moment, looked away, and sat in uncomfortable silence for the rest of class because I'm a jerk.
No.
This was about 12 years ago. I was chatting with two female colleagues during lunch break. When the break was almost over, I wanted to ask, "Shall we go back to work?" Instead, for some reason I asked, "Shall we go to bed?" My face instantly turned red. It was pretty awkward, but we all ended up laughing about it.
We've been married for about 20 years now.
All three of us.
Co-worker's 5-month pregnant wife was strolling into the office when my 19-year-old mouth said, "You're almost as big as your husband." Thought nothing of it until an hour later when my coworker and I had a chat about hormones.
I made a pregnant lady cry once by asking what names she was considering for her baby, which led to a conversation about our moms, and the names they chose for us, which caused her to cry. I was mortified.
I worked at a restaurant that served fried pickles and it was one of our biggest sellers. I had two ladies come in and one says, "OMG, let's get fried pickles." Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but you get it. Other lady says, "You go ahead, I'll pass. No biggie. I order them and bring them out with 2 plates anyway." What I meant to say was, I brought 2 plates in case you change your mind. I know how delicious they are and they might call your name. What I actually said was, I brought 2 plates because I understand the call of the pickle. Awkward smile and cue walk off. Edit. The word edit number 2. Thanks for the gold! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! So glad that something as silly as this has made so many people giggle. It makes me and the husband laugh to this day. Edit number 3. Thanks to another stranger for the second gold. Exclamation mark. I have to say, didn't think that this silly comment from nearly 10 years ago would make so many laugh. Glad my awkwardness can be of service. Grinning face with big eyes.
Job interview was quasi, good cop, bad cop, I guess you could say. First interviewer came out with some pretty tough questions and I was already a nervous wreck for the interview, as I had applied for something well above what I was qualified for and got the right person's attention.
I
Fucking bombed.
I felt like a total idiot for even thinking I had a shot.
Interviewer number 2 comes out and I just blurt out, boy, did I fuck that up. He has a good laugh about it with me. We bullshit around for 20 or 30 minutes and I started the next week.
Still not sure how or why.
At a funeral, got up to the coffin. Asked the widow of the deceased, how are you? Goddammit. You know exactly how the fuck she is. Why would you ask such a thing? Exclamation mark.
So, what's with the fancy box? At my dad's funeral a relative asked me, why so sad? Then spent a long time apologizing.
So I was at a group fitness class and the instructor was known for having weird exercises like bending and swinging one of your arms in a circle and calling it making soup. He gets really into and asks the class what soup they were making. Chicken soup. Tomato soup. He asked me and I panicked and said water.
I'm making exercise, you fucking dork. Let me work out.
God, this is fucking painful to type. One day, when I was young, probably 10 to 11 years old, my aunt and uncle came to our house to visit us. My mom, stepdad, brother, aunt, uncle, and myself were all looking through old family pictures. We came across this picture of me, age 2, and my brother, age 7, playing in the sprinkler. So everyone starts laughing at the picture. Mostly because I'm naked kid jumping through the sprinkler. My brother laughs and goes, I'm going to take this to school and show everyone. Meaning that he was going to take it to school and embarrass me in front of my friends. My brain decides to go full shit mode and I blurt out, why? Does it give you a boner? Mainly, I think I was trying to embarrass him and it was the only thing my shit kid brain came up with at the time. Everyone stops laughing and just stares at me. I realize the impact of what I said and my stepdad just goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go to your room. I get up from the chair and run upstairs, wishing I could just disappear forever. I sometimes think about it and just have to ask, why? Why you do this to me? Brain, edit. I think someone asked. I'm a guy, which makes it double awkward. I think 10 to 11-year-old me thought that having a boner was embarrassing, so I really nailed him with that zinger. The collective horrified looks from everyone in utter silence was probably the worst part about it. However, the responses I've received from everyone have been hilarious and have made me feel quite a bit better about it. I regret I have but only one upvote to give for each one of your fantastic comments. Thanks for the gold as well.
Got let go from my job by the boss. Early that morning he had chased a robber from his house. The firing was amicable. I understood why but knew it sucked for both of us. Trying to lighten the mood when I walked out, I said, keep your doors locked. He did not think it was a reference to his earlier story. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the gold.
Oh no, I meant because I'm going to rob you. At one point I was having lunch with my then girlfriend. I asked if she wanted to say hi to her friend. She said she didn't see her. I pointed to her and asked, do you not recognize her bent over? To which she responded, do you?
Not with the clothes on.
This kills the boyfriend.
I've told this before but I'll never forget it. I took my girlfriend to a very beautiful park and served her a gourmet picnic. After we were finished I nervously took her hand in mine and asked her to marry me. I mumbled, or her ears failed, or I don't know what, but she replied with sure. Whatever, obviously missing what I had said. In my mind I thought, Andrew, you idiot, you screwed this up, but out of my mouth came the words no. You idiot, I'm proposing. Yes, I called my wife an idiot as part of my marriage proposal. After that I kinda blanked out until I saw her crying and saying yes over and over again. Our 18th anniversary is coming up in the spring. Edit, I'm loving all your proposal stories. I'm going to save them up to show to my wife. Apparently there were tons of idiots for her to choose from and I just got incredibly lucky. Love you, Hon.
I have never responded well to random uncomfortable news. Once when I was in college I was getting a haircut and asked how the stylist's day was going. She said her day was going well but her dog died the night before. Without thinking I said, think of all the money you'll save on dog food. Instant regret. It's one of those things that pops into my head randomly as I try to sleep at night. Edit. My most upvoted comment on Reddit is now a small story of me being an accidental heartless asshole. Never change Reddit. Never change.
Coworker asks why I don't have kids or a woman I'm my life. Why? You offering? I respond, still haven't lived that down from my sexually aggressive female coworker.
Seems smooth as fuck. And she is now interested. Wherein lies the problem?
Wait, what was her response? Depending on the general type of humor between you two, it could go either direction.
Back in high school, my sorta girlfriend, we'd been dating for maybe 2 months, invited me over to her house to hang out at the pool and with her family. I went. The dad was very intensely Baptist, of the common sort in the South, and, on my first date with his daughter, had asked me to explain why I deserved to go to heaven. But I sort of got along with him, because I'm generally good at getting along with most of anyone. So I was having a good time that day. Girlfriend, her parents, and I started playing some board game together. There was some friendly banter and smack talk going on. GF and I had watched Anchorman a few days earlier, I'm pretty sure, so I started repeating some of the quotes from what movie back at her for the banter. I knew it was a little risky since the parents didn't let anyone watch anything that wasn't A Walk to Remember or Seventh Heaven. But whatever, there was enough background noise where I got away with it a few times. But then came one of those moments where all background and conversation noise ceases. Which coincided with my telling my girlfriend to go back to your home on Whore Island. I muttered a thing or two about being from a movie we watched, which barely helped anything since they definitely saw me as corrupting the good Christian girl from there on out.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day you marvelous people.